Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation following.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials, grant them wisdom to know and the courage to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Allen? Here. LaFour? Mr. Avich?
Here.
Reindell?
Here.
Ricks?
Here.
Schultz?
Here.
Warren?
Here.
We need a motion to excuse Councilor LaFour, given us previous notice that he would be out of town.
I'll make the motion. Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We have approval of minutes from the council meeting of February 20th. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We have no audience so far this evening, so we will not be going to the audience unless somebody appears after each one of our items for consideration this evening. Mr. City Manager, any changes in the agenda?
No changes.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on that? Being not, all in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. There is no discussion on the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to items for consideration. We have 6 this evening. The first one being consideration of special event, StarCraft Brewery, 4th anniversary celebration. Mr. City Manager?
City Council is scheduled to consider approving a special event request from StarCraft Brewery to hold their 4th anniversary celebration. The owners again would like to close a portion of Water Street from Forest to the alleyway and close the sidewalk in front of their business as well as the city portion of the parking lot. They're planning again a 3-day event like in 2022 for July 14th through the 16th. They are requesting that they be allowed to set up their tents and fencing and things like that Thursday morning, July 13th through Monday evening, July 17th to allow them for takedown time. Other than that, the event is almost the same as last year. And so the only other issue we have is our project this spring. They've already been submitting their different submittals to Jim, and the contract calls for a June 30th completion date of that project. I did, however, add a number 3 that if the construction of the parking lot goes longer than anticipated, administration will work with the applicant to amend the area of the parking lot closure.
Thank you. Is there a motion for discussion?
Let's see, I'll make the motion to approve the special event request from StarCraft Brewery for the 4th anniversary celebration from Friday, July 14th through Sunday, July 16th from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Friday, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Sunday, including a tent and outdoor music. The approval is contingent upon the following: permission to close portion of Water Street from Forest to the alleyway drive and a portion of Forest Street sidewalk and tree lawn area in front of their building from Thursday, July 13th through Monday evening, July 17th, to allow time to set up and tear down for the fencing and the tent. 2, the permission to have one mobile food vendor, Scalely's wood-fired pizza, each day in the accordance with their special event application for mobile food vendors. And if construction of the parking lot goes longer than anticipated, administration will work with the applicant to amend the area of the parking lot closure.
Motion made and supported. Discussion? I guess I'll. Michael, do you want to go?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just looking at when, in the motion, does it talk about when they want to start closing down the parking lot?
I think what
that's-
happened, I was just going to bring that up. I think number one is also supposed to be Water Street from Forest to Alley Drive, the sidewalk, and the parking lot. I believe that got
Okay.
omitted from this. Yeah.
Okay. I guess my concern is if they really need Thursday so much to be setting up the parking lot. I don't know. I know they had that thing this last weekend and it seemed like they were able to get things up on Friday. Do it too. I mean, I'm all in favor of this event completely and the food trucks and everything. It's just being such a long period of time and taking up the parking lot on Thursdays
morning.
like,
Yeah.
with other businesses. I know the mayor has some issues too with handicap parking not being available when that happens, which I have an issue too, but I was talking to him about it and he mentioned that. So, just try to make it better for everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, with their event not starting at 5 p.m., I don't know if they need Thursday's lot shut down also. I believe they can
Right.
pull it together. It's not that big of a tent that they use.
And certainly we could have either all of their stuff start to be set up on Friday, or you could at least say the parking lot you can't set up till Friday. You could do Water Street between the alley and, I don't think, other than people driving through that street, as long as the alley's open to Main Street, I think is more important than, they could at least, they get council's pleasure. But if they focus, they can at least get that stuff set up and leave the parking lot open until Friday.
Yep, that'd be very helpful.
That's also my concern. That's 5 days of eliminating parking in our public parking lot. The other thing I've never thought of before, and I got a text yesterday about this, complaining about this past weekend. As far as I know, our only handicap parking is in our parking lot that they're going to be using for 5 days, not using for handicap parking.
Correct.
So I don't think there's any other handicap parking in the private area?
No, there's not. There's no handicap parking in the private area. The only marked spaces are within our lot because we put them there.
Yeah.
I will say that, again, we don't designate any of the streets on Main Street handicapped. Most of the businesses aren't handicapped accessible at the rear. They're more likely to be handicapped accessible on Main Street entrance. So, again, it's depending on whether the reason for parking in the handicap spot. You might be able to navigate stairs. It's just harder. You don't want to walk as far. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I think if we can, from my recollection of previous events, they didn't need quite the amount of time they had the closure for to set up.
Yeah, that's my other concern. This is 5 days of closing the street, sidewalks, and a huge parking lot for a celebration that's happening every single year for a private business on public parking property. It seems excessive in my book. 5 days, the Good Old Days Festival is a little bit Thursday, a little bit Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And draws thousands and thousands of people. We're closing off a big hunk of property, city property here for private business. One, was it the 4th year celebration, I believe it's called. I like to see businesses in our town have special events, but this seems an excessive amount of time, 5 full days. I would like to eliminate the Thursday completely. I would like to see it become a Saturday, Sunday event, personally. I don't know, it's...
Do you have for reference what they did in the past, John, for the other 3 years? I mean, I know this
Last
has
year
been
was-
coming to us, but I can't
Yeah.
remember the
I
scope.
think the very first year it was a Friday or a Saturday, Sunday more event. I think after that it morphed into this, and I think last year was the first time they gave themselves more time to set up and take down. So I don't think it was, 5 days previously. Certainly it's a July event. I did email him, he had reached out late last week. I emailed him back today, but I don't know if they're open today, so I don't know if he got my email that they were on the council agenda tonight.
They're open.
They're open
I
tonight.
just went by there.
Okay, so certainly we could, either, amend this to say they have to set up on Friday for, Saturday, Sunday, and approve it that way, and if they want, they can come back and ask council, or we could table this and have them come to the next meeting again. It's a July event, we have time to request that they come and answer questions.
I would prefer we table it myself and have a little bit better discussion, and maybe they understand where we're coming from with shutting parking and streets down for that length of time. And maybe they can work something out where even if they could open the streets up on the Sunday night after their event or something to that effect, or guarantee the tents will be down early on Monday. But just, I guess we have more questions than answers tonight with the motion in front of us and them not being able to answer them.
Is that would you like to make that motion to table?
I will make that motion to table this item 1.
Is there support?
I'll support that.
There's support, no discussion on tabling. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion is tabled. Motion passes. The item is tabled until, I would assume, until such time that we can,
Make sure that they're here. Yep,
Yes.
absolutely.
yeah, could we include, I'm sorry, could we include that in the
In the
motion?
motion,
Technically, a tabling kind of puts
Yeah.
it away. I think the idea behind the motion was to, we all know what the idea behind the motion was,
100%.
correct?
Next
So when
meeting,
it
if
comes
they-
back, we'll know that it's okay.
Next meeting, if they can be here, the following meeting, if they can't be here at the next meeting.
Yeah,
And you'll voice our concerns to them?
I will let them know what we're looking for.
Okay.
100%.
very good. Thank you. Okay, item number 2 is consideration of special event, Starcraft Brewery, food trucks. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to consider a special event request for mobile food vendors from Starcraft Brewery. They are requesting this year for 5 dates, 2 in April, 1 in May, 1 in June, and then we did add a September date that they had emailed over the weekend for a total of 5 days. This is a reduction from last year, from when they did in the same time period 15 dates. This time it's, from what they submitted, it's always going to be the Scalisi Wood Fire Pizza. And they're also going to do fundraisers during those nights. The first fundraiser will be for Mission 22.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the special event request for a mobile food vendor from Starcraft Brewery to have a mobile food vendor on the following dates and times: Saturday, April 15th, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., Sunday, April 30th, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., Friday, May 12th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Saturday, June 10th, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., and Saturday, September 23rd, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion?
I guess, Mr. Mayor, I would just, we had a lot of discussions about these events that happened last year as well, and I guess I'm pleased that the amount of days compared to last year has gone down, and I think it's much more manageable, and I'm receptive to this as far as I know it's important and for them, for their business, and with this fundraising, it's good, but it's nice to see that they've gone back and thought about the amount last year and aren't asking for such a large amount of days for the summer,
Any other comments?
spring.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I also like to see that it's for donation purposes also. They will be donating to various nonprofit organizations on these days. I also like the fact that it is one vendor and it's the same vendor, and it's not really a major duplication of food that's readily available in that same block. It's specialty type food, so I understand that it does help StarCraft Brewery and their sales. Everybody likes beer and pizza quite often, they go together. And I commend them for taking it from 15 down to 5. I also understand that they're doing, they hope to expand their business, and maybe this has something to do with I call it an incubator type thing. They're seeing how it's going, and hopefully it goes good for them, and someday we can see them as a true brick and mortar food option for us in the community. So, any other comments? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 3 is consideration of accepting donations, 69089 Main Street. Mr. City Manager?
The City Council is scheduled to consider accepting a donation from Dr. Sadir Daoud of the building and property at 69089 Main Street. The property includes a parking lot that wraps around the rear and south sides of the building. This is the former dentist building, Richmond Dental Care, at the corner of Water and Main Street. They have moved this location that they own down to the building at 67184 Gratiot Avenue, the end of the strip mall commercial center behind Ted's. They were looking to see, rather than try to go through the process of selling the building, if the city would be interested in taking it as a donation. Certainly the way I kind of look at it is, it again puts us in the driver's seat of being able to help make sure that we have a good use for that building in our downtown versus somebody making it just a rental property or something along those lines. If we get it, then we can either put it up for sale, and we have the right to then say, okay, we're going to accept proposals based on 2 factors: use and price. And then price doesn't just become, okay, you sell to the person offering the most and you have no control of what's going in there. You might, again, our downtowns it's so important to get the right mix in there. And so I think even if in the short term all we do is turn around and put it up for sale ourselves, it's a benefit to us to do that ourselves versus them. Again, we could also look at other options for the property too. The way I've put the motion in here, even if we approve it tonight, it's still contingent upon a walkthrough of city council and administration. Obviously, we'd have fire, building, and Jim from Public Works there to go through the building just to make sure, we've checked all the financial stuff. It's paid up and in good shape, but certainly we don't want to accept something sight unseen. So with that, I've talked to our attorney. We can provide a letter stating that, yes, we've accepted your donation. We have this property assessed at X amount, which is, X amount of true cash value. And I've explained to them very clearly that just because we provide you that letter, we make no guarantees or statements of what that letter will do for you, your taxes. That's something they should talk to their attorney and tax accountant with. So under those terms, my recommendation or administration's recommendation is for approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept the donation from Dr. Sadir Daoud, building and property located at 69089 Main Street, subject to the following conditions. 1, a walk through the building to be made available to City Council administration prior to any letter of acceptance being issued by the City of Richmond, and the letter will state that the city has placed a value of the property at the 2023 current assessed value.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Discussion?
What's that area currently zoned, John?
B2. It's the same as the other downtown, even though it looks kind of residential
Right.
in nature, it's still the same downtown commercial zoning.
I think it's quite a generous gift.
Yeah.
If we can accept it, based on the condition of the building and the grounds. What we do with it is, is up in the air. We'll have to figure that one out. It is a historic building. It's got to be quite old. It's been a dentist office for many, many, many years. Dr. Banning was in there way back in the days.
Yeah, we have in our assessing records 1903.
1903.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think talking to John about this earlier, it's like the house that we had on North Main on the east side. There were people looking at, again, turning that into a multi-rental, and that's not really what we want to see on in our downtown, in a building in the condition that it was in. I think this building is not in the greatest condition to begin with, and we would not want to see that. I would hope. So, like John said, we have the ability to do whatever it is that we think is right for the downtown and the community with that building by accepting it. So, and hopefully we can get a date and time for a walkthrough real soon, so we could.
Yeah, they were
before
very
something else happens.
they were very interested in when can we come out and
Yeah.
let you in the building. So yeah, I think don't anticipate that that's going to be a problem based on I've been emailing both the dentist or the doctor and his property manager.
Great. Any other comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
with these dentist office, I know that Frank had problems in that with
Mercury?
Mercury, and is there any possibility that we could run into a situation here that it's, all of a sudden it's gonna cost us a ton of money
Mhm.
if we either fix it up or even take it down?
Mhm.
I mean,
That's why we don't want to just pass this based on an examination of the
Right,
grounds and the
okay.
building.
Yeah.
And, fully aware of the possibility of mercury contamination from this last dentist or dentist before him
Right.
or whatever,
I mean, there was quite a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
About that.
Absolutely, and that's certainly why we want to get into the building to look at, see how their operation was run and those sorts of things. A lot of the dentists.
Are there any tests that we can,
We can find out from our engineering firm whether there's tests to run. Most of the dentists that had issues, it was mercury that they were putting down the sewer line.
Right.
And so we were finding it in the sewer. And again, I don't want to just say there's not in the building, but our bigger issue was it was going down their sinks and things like that and ending up, because it's such a heavy metal, it would settle out into the bottom of our sewer line, and we could track right back to the front door of the dentist office until they became, as every profession is, and you learn, they started to put equipment in place to
Right.
take care of that problem. So, but again, we want to get in there and make sure, and I can certainly talk with our engineers on, hey, is there any type of test to run that we should run in like the basement floor or something like that?
thank you.
Anything else? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 4, consideration of establishing budget workshop meeting dates. Mr. City Manager.
Council is being requested to consider scheduling 3 budget workshop meeting dates. We normally do these in the month of April and May. That first meeting in April, due to spring break and the administration is still working on the budget, we'd prefer not that first Monday in April, but the second Monday in April and the 2 meetings in May has been kind of, has worked for us in the past few years. So April 17th, May 1st, and May 15th would be those dates.
Very good, thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to schedule the following budget workshop meeting dates to review and modify the city manager's proposed fiscal year 2023-2024 city budget as necessary, April 17th, May 1st, and May 15th, beginning at 5:30 PM.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on this? This has seemed to work for a number of years now for us. So hopefully we have light council agendas those
Yeah, we
nights so that we can.
try to,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
as
worked
much as
before.
we can.
Yeah, it's
Certainly.
worked well in the past, so.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on this? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 5, consideration of board appointments, Mr. City Manager.
There are several members of our Recreation Board that are up for reappointment. We have received 2 applications, one from Susan Keel and one from Dr. David Varga, and they are both in your packet, and we have 2 motions there.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Make motion to reappoint Susan Keel to the Recreation Board for a 2-year term with the expiration date of March 31st, 2025.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Great member of the board. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Against? Motion passes. We have a second reappointment, I should say. Is there a motion?
I'll
Make a mo-
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
After you.
I make a motion to reappoint Dr. David Varga to the Recreation Board for a 2-year term with an expiration date of March 31st, 2025.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on this item? He filled in here a few months ago, I believe. And has done a great job so far on the board, so he's a valued member also. I think we want to thank both of them for
Absolutely.
asking for a reappointment. They both do a great job for us there. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 6, consideration of Michigan Municipal League Capital Conference. Mr. City Manager?
We placed this item on our agenda. Some years, we have council members that want to go over to the Capitol Conference. Other years, based on people's schedules and things, we don't. We just noticed that the registration deadline is coming up, and especially if we want to do the early bird special. So, again, if people's schedules don't allow anyone to go, that's fine. We just want to make sure everyone was aware of that it was coming up, and if you do, let us know and we can register people.
Okay. If we could break the rules for the moment, council? Does anybody want to go to this year?
Normally, I would want to go. I do find value in it, but this year, it's a bad week for me, and I can't go. And actually, too, looking at the agenda, there's nothing really earth-shaking that's new.
That's what I saw.
You know, it is good to go and network with people and to meet with your legislators,
Sure.
which now our former council.
We know her.
We know her, so it's not like we
Yeah.
can't get a hold of her. So,
Right.
but it would be nice to go visit her in her new digs, but
Yeah.
I can't go. So, but I'd encourage somebody else if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Or maybe we don't go and then we send a couple people next year. I don't know.
Anybody else? The one thing I'd like to see is, as Mike stated, there isn't a whole lot on the agenda that pertains to us, but there is one that's grabbed my attention. It's called Funding Public Safety Public Act 33. Something brand new that's been passed evidently by the legislature, and I'd like to know what that is. It's for funding for public safety, and evidently they've done something to twist it a little bit somehow, so if we could just get that information when it's available.
Yeah.
Since nobody's going. So there is no motion. We will move on. This latest matters from the city manager, sir.
Just a couple. One, I'd like to thank Councilor Reindell in his role as Assistant Fire Chief this weekend. He took kind of a personal interest in some wire issues and the transformer issues we had over on Gleason Street, reached out to the DTE through a hotline that public safety has, and and stayed on it until they got out there and addressed the problem, so I appreciate that. You have your invitations for our grand reopening of the Aud in front of you, so if you haven't noticed, grab those invitations. They've gone out in the mail to the people that we're inviting for that opening. Margot and I were talking probably a Saturday in May for like a family Saturday event that'll be open to the public, so we're working on that as well. And then just a reminder, I'll be out of the office tomorrow afternoon.
Very good. All right, council comments. Jimmy?
I'd like to thank DPW for the weekend, getting rid of whatever that, you call that stuff out there, to make the streets passable anyhow.
Yeah.
It was
a mess.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some driveways got plowed, but there's no place you can go with it. You know, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was hard to deal with. Yum?
Nothing, thank you.
John?
Nothing.
Bob?
All set.
Michael?
Just one thing. I guess I would like to thank our police chief, Tom Costello, who's here today with us too. Also, there's been a lot of unexpected activities that they've had to respond to and address, and even the public out there has been on social media very complimentary and realize what a great job that they're doing in our police department. So kudos to them for everything they've been doing in regards to that and keeping our community safe and getting information out to explain what was going on, because it's so easy for something to kind of get out of control. If somebody says one word, then it turns into something completely different. So thanks to Chief for great press releases and things when needed, but then also for everything else that the department's been doing within the last few months, but always as well. Thank you.
Okay. Go to the calendar here. Today being March 6th. We have, the calendar says that we have a recreation board meeting tomorrow night, but that had to be canceled, and we had it last week, as was previously mentioned. On the 9th, this Thursday at 7 o'clock, the Planning Commission will be meeting. Don't forget, we have a daylight savings will begin this Sunday, the 12th, and we recommend that you change your smoke detector batteries and any other detectors that you have that might be on batteries. It's a good time to change those. The library board will be meeting on the 13th, this coming Monday at 5:30 at the library. The cable commission will be meeting on the 14th at 6:30 here at City Hall. And the board of review is going to be going on I believe tomorrow, the 7th, the 14th, and the 16th, which required an appointment, John, for the board of review?
Yes, requires appointments. And so it's always best to call in. They can just call City Hall number 586-727-7571 and press 0. You'll get Agatha, and she'll be able to help you make that appointment.
Okay. And then the EDC will be meeting on the 16th at 7 o'clock right here at City Hall. And on the 20th, 2 weeks from tonight, it's the next regular city council meeting. Is there anything else that we need to add to the calendar? I'll mention the commercial house, formerly known as Chaps, had their event that we okayed a few weeks ago, and it seemed to be perfect weather for them. The snow was Friday night into Saturday, and evidently that snow got removed. I'm assuming the city removed it before the doings happened, and it sounded like they had a good. I got there at 6 o'clock because we had basketball all day long, and we went in and ate, and it was just packed in there. So those events really do help our businesses, all of our businesses, and when they're conducted like that. And hats off to the young couple that is making that a go there at the new commercial house. So anyhow, we move on to, we've got a couple of things here, of course. Library. They have a book folding workshop. It's going to be held Wednesday, March 22nd at 6 o'clock at the library. Any questions on that? 727-2665. Also, library is having their big jigsaw puzzle sale on Saturday, March 25th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the library. Again, any questions on that? 727-2665. The Recreation Department will be holding their Easter egg scramble on Saturday, April 1st at Beebe Street Park. It begins at 10:30 a.m. sharp, and I guarantee you better be there about quarter after 10,
Yes.
Mr. City Manager?
Absolutely.
Because they will start at 10:30 sharp, no matter what. It'll be inside if the weather's bad. Age group are 3 to 4, then the 5 to 6s, and then the 7 to 10s. Bring your own basket or bag, and there'll be special treats available for those 2 and under. The Easter Bunny will be in the community center afterwards for pictures, and there'll also be a professional photographer there if you would like a professionally done picture. I believe that's it. And that's it. We'll move on. We do have a closed session this evening. Is there a motion to go into closed?
I make the motion to convene in a closed session in accordance with Section 8C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act, Public Act 267 of 1976, as amended, for strategy and negotiation sessions connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement as requested by administration.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there any discussion? Being not, a roll call, please.
Allen?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Rindell?
Yes.
Ricks?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
Warren?
Yes.
Motion does pass. We will go into closed session.